guys. Thank you so much for being back here. I hope you had a very good break. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up in this half. We're going to start with talking about large scale AR, move on to spatial audio, and then look at VR training. Also, then we'll go into the future of XR, and I'm going to share with you my top 10 favorite things that I have seen in XR this last year. So to kick off the second half, we have Kimenkowski, who is the founder and managing director of CADwalk Global. CADwalk allows clients to understand plans and space in a new and exciting way by using the latest in advanced visualization technologies, creating an interactive, collaborative, and life-size design experience. Speaking with us today on integrated visual decision-making using large-scale augmented reality, and joining us all the way from Perth, Australia, please help me welcome Kim.
Thank you. Yeah, can you hear me? Is all good? 1, 2, yeah, all good. Yeah, thanks for listening to me today. Actually, so had another speech on another conference. Actually, so I joined over, and so yeah, I'm very pleased to be here and got invited and be part of this actually, which is quite exciting actually. So yeah, we want to report a bit on what we are doing in Australia in this field basically, and share maybe some insights. So who, only that I can address you properly, so who's more on the technical side? So who wants to make any money out of this? Okay, good. So we are still a startup company, so don't get it, we haven't made yet the big bucks basically, but we are not too bad basically. So yeah, large scale augmented reality. So I skip, I think, the first couple of the AR industry. I'm sure you know all this. So it's big dollars there basically, and I think investors are starting to get interested in that industry basically. So I don't think you're in a bad space basically there. I skip this. I don't want to bore you with this basically really. Mixed reality, of course, we are all waiting desperately, not sure how you guys are doing, onto the HoloLens. So we see some exciting things happening. So, but what we are all about is what we call large-scale augmented reality. So that means where we potentially push real objects into life-size projected areas, basically. So who is aware of that terminology, spatial design? Yeah, so it's a relatively new terminology. It's around for a long time, but it has never been defined. So now, quick question actually. Star Trek, who is familiar with Star Trek? Still that generation? Yeah? Okay, here's a prize for you. Captain Kirk, I think it is, medallion. Yeah? And who tells me who used spatial design first officially gets this thing here. Okay, I let it run. All ready to go? Oh, sorry, that's too. I think you have to play it from there, please.
Drinks.
Okay. We bring out our whole staff and we have them go through the motions, making pretend burgers and fries.
All right, Steve, anticipate that. You gotta keep the tray level. Okay.
And Dick is running around with this stick, marking where all the equipment should be.
Tuck in. Tony, are you gonna skip the pickles when we're really doing it?
They do it over
Any ideas?
and over, hashing it out, choreographing it like some crazy burger ballet.
What's going on over there?
First?
Yes.
Correct. Sorry.
No. No.
More in my field. Yeah, so McDonald's was indeed
Everybody stop!
sort of, we believe, the inventors of spatial design. But then I've seen Game of Thrones as well, and I think Khaleesi did something similar there as well. So now, what we are all about is basically taking that concept, and I think you have to play that again. important thing here is to understand that every CADwalk has a virtual reality set as well. So we are not ignoring virtual reality. We have only found that in the housing market, this has been trialed for 3 years. And if you think you can get into that market with virtual reality, don't even try, because this has been done before, and it has not been proven very successful, basically. And I think I heard before the comments that women are very carefully with not getting the hair messed up and all these sort of things. And unless I think we see some better optical gadgets, I think it will be a hard sell, basically, really. Yeah. So a normal CADwalk system is traditionally 250 square meters of floor space. The closest to here is in Munich. And we have used this already for our friends from European Space Agency, German police, to design the command and control rooms. And that is an industry for what this was invented for. So it wasn't designed for doing shopping centers or something like this, but it was invented to where very high valuable machines basically have to work with human beings. And we find in the moment, and we see this actually in VR as well, so a bit of an insight as well, the medical industry, so like designing hospitals, getting basically aged care facilities right. So this is a market where we see in the moment a lot of tension, basically, right? I think that's another quick video. So, but we can. Yeah. So this is a traditional workshop where we shuffle things basically around, and we do that with all stakeholders involved. So we have sometimes in a CADwalk up to 50 people basically making decisions, and they make that decision basically in a fraction of the time it would take them sending plans backwards and forwards basically. So, but why is that happening basically? And I think based on my age, I can say I have been involved in the first wave of virtual reality. And I think the holy grail of virtual reality is if we can if we can walk. As soon as we can start to walk, I think virtual reality really will take off. But that is a long way to go, basically. And I think what we found is basically in our XR, so that means CADwalk is compatible. We use the same data set, so the same model basically, and repurpose it for VR, AR, MR, 3D, and live scale. And we found that the combination of all of them is what the client wants nowadays, right? So only to do CADwalk, maybe not good. CADwalk and VR, we believe works basically. Yeah. So some of the clients we've done already. So things what people say about this, and there's a bit of an insight. We had an industrial psychologist working for us for a year, and they said, why is this working and why is VR, let's say, not working? And I think the answer we all know, because we take people really out of a group dynamic. So that is a very important part to understand. It is a single user experience for people. But if we want to make a group decision where millions of dollars are dependent on, we want to do this in a group environment, basically. So what we find, and I mentioned maybe only the middle part to you, we are part now, and we're using VR, AR, BIM, and CADwalk basically together to design, I think it's a $1.5 billion hospital, and every room will be going through this process. So that means nurses and doctors will be coming to us basically and validate every room, because the changes at a later stage are quite expensive basically. So another market, we were talking about VR, so it didn't quite work. Could you play that video for me, please, again?
Forget the old paper blueprints. New technology is hitting the market to help take the pain and cost out of building a house. It gives customers the chance to walk through their dream home before a brick's even been laid.
It's our bedroom, it's our bed, it's my ensuite.
It looks like a virtual reality game, but this Perth couple is actually walking through their new home before it's even built.
Make it a little bit bigger, so even if it came out to about here.
These tripods, called trees, communicate with lasers in the room, letting home builders move walls, doors and even furniture.
Actually being able to wander around the rooms and go, okay, right, so this is how it would be with the bed in. You could rearrange it this way, and actually knowing before it's built.
The technology brings full-size floor plans to life, giving builders the freedom to choose and change whatever they like in 3D.
At least this way I can say, yep, I love it. This is exactly what we want.
An Australian first, the software by CADwalk is currently being trialled by Perth's Gemmell Homes.
We're just at the start of this technology, and I think it's a real game changer. So in the past, we'd put display homes out there in every subdivision. I don't think we're going to need as many display homes now, because we can bring clients' homes to life in this arena.
And the company says it's not just about getting what you want, it could also save you money in the long run. The process isn't cheap. Users will get one session free through Gemmell, but beyond that, they'll pay around $1,500 for an hour. Developers say the price will come down as its popularity grows.
So I think that's enough, basically. So, but each of the session, only to give you a bit of a background, we have a VR set, so people can use, at the end of the session, they can use a VR set. The uptake of using a VR set is actually, I think, less than 5%. You know, so only to, so what I'm trying to convey is don't bet on the wrong horse, because it has been proven not to work, basically, right? I think VR has a fantastic application we use it, for example, for ergonomics, you know, where people really have to make some qualified decision, and of course entertainment is a thing we are not working in, basically, but it is quite important, so to make sure that you don't invest a lot of time and effort in something what has been proven already not to work, right? So we believe that other markets, of course, you know, so are quite big. We cut our design time down basically so that people can walk through their real home from around 3 to 6 months to anywhere between 2 and 10 days. So that means there is a lot of savings. And of course, we are dealing mainly with resource industry, so that means it's oil and gas mining. So that's a hell of a lot of money for them basically in the long run. So that's a real return on investment basically for these people. Only to give you a bit of a background, I think in the UK BIM becomes quite popular now. And this is only figures for the design market for the building industry. However, it's not easy to get in there, you know, so don't storm off tomorrow and approach builders, you will fail. You know, it's very difficult actually. I'm sure you guys have made all this experience yourself. So yeah, so at the end of the day, so this is the comments we are getting, and we are quite proud because we believe that CADwalk, the trees are the simplest user interface anyone can really do. We've got a CADwalk hopefully tomorrow fully set up in ballroom 3, so if next to Meyer Sound. So if you want to have a try, have a play with that, you're welcome to do that. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, any questions?
I was actually going to ask if this, I've noticed that the scale of the houses are quite different.
Yeah.
And then the video is the same.
Yes.
Right? So would you please explain to me, would that work? Is it scalable?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for the question. It's a really good question. As a normal CADwalk is around 200 square meters. And so we have done houses maybe with 400 square meters. And so we can do either pen and scan. But what we have found for people who want to go through the house, it's the same aspect like you go through a house. You are not going through the whole thing at once. You go in room by room. So the salesperson is there with a tablet, he goes with them, and he marks down what he wants to change, basically. So we are only facilitating this. So there is a salesperson normally involved from the builder, and they go through room by room. But CADwalk can be scaled down, so we've done 2,000 square meter office blocks or something like this. So yes, we can scale down, and the measuring works in any scale. Yeah, so that means when we measure even in a 1 to 10 scale, we can scale this completely, so it will be accurate to a millimeter, basically, right? Yeah.
Thank you for your nice presentation.
Thank you.
I have a question on the remark you made about virtual reality, and that only 5% is using it.
In our market.
Yes. Okay.
So
I was wondering what the application I've seen with virtual reality is mostly they use 3 degrees of freedoms where you have a certain location where you look around and see the object.
yes, yes.
I think would that maybe improve if you use something like 6 degrees of freedom where you can actually walk around you, so you get a more spatial view of it.
Yes, and thanks for asking that question. We work with universities together quite close, and our next version of this is basically a what is it? I'm not sure if that is even on there. Yes, so you see this on the right-hand side. Is the picture there? So what we're doing there is basically mixing CADwalk with HoloLens. Yeah, and we are working already on this, so in series is all working, if we ever could get hold of a HoloLens, right? So we ordered, I think, 4, and we haven't gotten them yet, so we are still experimenting with the old version of them. But this is our vision, basically, hence the connection to Star Trek, so because the original name for CADwalk was actually holodeck. Yeah, right, so I wanted to share that. But we couldn't use that out of legal reasons, basically. And so, yes, this is exactly what we are doing there. But I think this will only work with mixed reality, not with VR. Yeah? And I think another downside is that VR is still, most of the systems are still depending on some sort of cable.
Yes. Well, I have some good experience with the Oculus Quest, the new device from Oculus Facebook. And
great.
I do think that has a very big benefit because of not having the
the wires, basically, yes. Because every CADwalk, and you can see this tomorrow if you visit us today or tomorrow in CADwalk. So every CADwalk we can switch from CADwalk straight away to VR, so we don't have to render it out. So whatever you see on CADwalk, we use the same 3D model straight away in VR. So there is no additional cost even there, but still people don't want to use it. So please.
Thank you for the presentation, exciting. I'm basically coming from VR background, so I wonder what is the exact pitfall for using VR in that sense, and have you experimented with multiplayer VR setup?
Yes, so we have sets of 4 roaming, like the backpacks.
With backpacks.
Yes. A research project, for example, for us is, if we use mixed reality, so this is the theme, I think, the biggest problem is, if we do this remotely with a multitude of people, basically, we don't know what each person sees, right? So there's a challenge for all of you, because this hasn't been solved worldwide. So that means if you looking VR, we are using CADwalk and someone else uses AR or something like this, we don't know what that person is looking at, basically, right? So that is a research project in the moment, really.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have time for one more if anybody else has a question. No? Yeah, here we go.
I saw you working with Unreal Engine. Are there any technical difficulties you faced working with a real-time engine?
Brilliant question. Brilliant question. We set out to do this because we work with universities, and Unity seems to be the cheaper and easier way, and we find more Unity programmers. However, because we are working with commercial projects, right, like Rivet and commercial projects, we have changed now completely to Unreal. I don't want to make advertising for Unreal, please don't get this wrong, but we believe, this is only what our technical guys tell me. What is it? Unreal, if you want to do really some serious engineering work, because it's much easier to deal with, basically. And we are loading now massive data sets in, basically, and we had really problems with Unity to do that. So what we had to do with our research partners, we had to change them from a 2-year working with Unity to Unreal, because they were doing their developments in Unity, and then when our programmers got it, and then they said, yeah, but in Unreal, we have really this and this problems, basically. So yeah, commercial world, in my opinion, only me, I would go Unreal in the moment, yes. That may change, I don't know. So, thank you.
Thank you to Kim.
Thank you very much.
I actually covered CADwalk in the Big Reveal, my
wow.
monthly innovation newsletter, a couple months ago. And I had a lot of really good feedback. A lot of people really want you to bring it to London.
Yeah, so and I think when we set out, basically, what we wanted to try is to make it simple. Yeah, nothing fancy, nothing whatever, because our life is complicated enough already, I think. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.